Dolphins signed Jaylen Waddle to a new 3-year extension worth almost $85 million. Last year, Waddle had his third straight 1,000-yard season, along with 4 touchdowns. Not that many, but here's the most guaranteed money power rankings for a wide receiver. A.J. Brown at 84, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 77, Waddle at 76, Cooper Kupp 75, and then another Dolphin, Tyreek Hill at 72. Here working for free for us, courtesy of 670 The Score, is Danny Parkins. But we're going to start with you, Brew. Are the Dolphins contenders?
I mean, sure. If you're going to play a tomato can in 80-degree weather every time in the playoffs, sure. Then you can be contenders. I mean, what are we talking about? No. Now, first of all, Tua, who we're not certain is a star.
I'm certain he's not, but sure. Okay. Yeah.
But we do have to acknowledge there also still is a health concern with him. He's been healthy 1 out of 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. So that's just one. All right. But we've seen this graphic before, but here it is again. This is Tua and by extension the Dolphins against playoff teams. Last year they were 1-6, and it's not just the record. Look at the numbers. His numbers dropped drastically.
Across
300 yards a game to 227, 230, whatever.
The passer rating is crazy.
Passer rate. Look at the TD to interception ratio. And here's the other thing. A lot of people thought their defense, there was a lot of talk at the end of last season or late last season, oh, the defense is stepping up under Fangio. That's because they were playing tomato cans. When they played the playoff teams, they gave up 32 points a game. So they got big names on defense. But are they really ready to be a championship-level defense? So those are all my concerns. I love the offense. You know, it's exciting. It's fun. But defensively and Tua, I got questions about, so no, not a contender.
Okay.
See, I say they are contenders. Now, part of this is because it's May, and I want to believe that there are more than 5 contenders in the AFC, and they have the 6th best Super Bowl odds of any team in the AFC. So I'd like to believe the teams in that range are contenders. They scored the most points of any team in the AFC last year. And you
a lot of that was because of the 70.
I know you say the 70 helped. And you say tomato cans, that's definitely true. Those numbers don't lie. But also, that playoff game, they were devastated by injury at the end of the season. Look at the number of starters. I'm not saying they would have won that game at Arrowhead if these guys were healthy. But that is their entire
pass. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Kind of are. You kind of are. I mean, you're not saying it, but that graphic is saying it.
It was real cold.
And it's
I
cold.
Say, that's the whole
They
pass
can't play
rush.
in cold weather.
I understand, but that's 2 starters on the offensive line. That's all their sacks. That's all their linebackers. That's 2 guys in their safety that are starters. So I'd like to believe that if they're healthy and they repeat that production offensively, that sure, the Dolphins are a contender.
So listen, I don't think the loss, Brew and I think, feel differently about how big of a loss Vic Fangio is. Because I know you're one of the reasons you're optimistic about Phillies because they got him. It seemed like Miami couldn't, and the players in particular, couldn't wait for him to move on. Maybe it just wasn't a fit, or maybe, he's past his coordinating prime, if you will. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see this year.
No, I do think you can age out of being able to relate to players, and maybe the schemes change and defenses change. I do think that happens to certain guys. But to me, this is, Brew, I think I agree with you, because this really is a Tua question. Because I would believe this team were a contender. Quarterbacks that are, I think, universally considered good, but not considered top tier, like Jalen Hurts. With Jalen, I would believe this team is a contender. Not a top tier contender, but with
it's the championship
Justin
game.
Herbert.
With
Justin Herbert.
Well, I think Herbert's even a tier above. I think with Herbert, they'd be considered top tier contenders. I think Jared Goff with this team, if the offensive line stays together, I would consider them more of a contender. Dak Prescott. Maybe you disagree there. I would consider them more highly than I do now. And that is because despite the numbers, and I know Wilds can think I'm being unfair to the guy at times, despite the numbers, I think Tua is at best a league average quarterback. I think that's what he is.
At best.
I think he's around the 15th best quarterback in the league with ideal circumstances. Because I think his coach is super sharp, and we know how they like the weapons so much. They have 2 wide receivers on the list, Wild showed us.
But what do you want the guy to do?
I mean, Brew laid some of it out. Be able to play in a brisk breeze and to be able to be a good team.
They lost to the Chiefs, who are a dynasty.
He's 0-6.
But what happened to him last year, Wild? Last year They couldn't beat the best teams, and they lost to the Bills twice this year. The reason they were playing the Chiefs was because they lost to Buffalo at the final game of the year.
Yeah, they should. Okay.
And they got stomped by a lot of the top teams. Baltimore, Buffalo, like they didn't just
Baltimore
lose.
was in the AFC
they got
Championship.
Stomped though.
Right, but
a lot of teams lost to Baltimore, and a lot of teams lost to the Chiefs
Right, but
in
to
the
be-
playoff. All the teams lost to the Chiefs in the playoff. Poor Tua is like, wow, I'm not elite. If I was a chef, okay, and my restaurant constantly was like, wow, most yards for a restaurant. Wow, most points for the restaurant. And I have you guys as restaurant reviewers like, yeah, who's not good? The chef. I'm like, well, it sure seems like he's
How
good.
about once?
You see, he
What do you mean
led the league in
constantly?
yards for a chef, but he's no good.
What if that
Oh,
restaurant?
he's got the best ingredients.
Every time just a regular person came there, they
We don't have outdoor seating.
Okay, all right.
In any event, so while the money is flowing in Miami, dried up in Dallas, where Micah Dak and most relevant to this convo, CeeDee Lamb, still looking for contract extensions. So here's CeeDee's numbers compared to Waddle's numbers. Now remember, Waddle just got $75 million. CeeDee's played more games, had a lot more targets, more receptions, so almost 700 more yards and 8 more touchdowns. So, Nick, what does this mean for CeeDee?
Well, I mean, the Cowboys. Do you guys ever use Kayak, the plane ticket app or
Yes.
Yeah, I don't
hotel
know if
app
that's
or whatever?
still a thing. But
Okay,
yeah,
well,
I used to.
it's what I use, but that's fine.
Does it work still?
Yeah, whenever you like type in an like I'm thinking about buying this plane ticket, it has a little thing in the corner that says our advice: buy now or wait.
Yeah.
Say if it's going to go up or go down. The Cowboys think that it's like, wait, it's going down. And it's not close. Every single receiver that signs a contract that is CeeDee is clearly better than, it just raises they should have bought now months ago. And now, here's the thing. This is the third player, Danny, from the draft class after CeeDee Lamb to get paid. Devontae Smith, Penei Sewell, and Jaylen Waddle were the 2021 draft class. CeeDee was the 2020 draft class. So the Cowboys don't typically lose these players, so I don't think CeeDee's going to go anywhere. I just think they are doing terrible business in not having signed him at this point.
Completely agree. It still is indefensible how they're handling this. It's going to cost them money, but CeeDee will get his money. Dak will get his money, and it will cost the Cowboys a few $1,000,000 probably on each guy. But I actually think the Cowboys contract that we're never talking about, that's the more interesting one, is Mike McCarthy. He is a lame duck coach.
Yes.
They didn't give him an extension coming off 12 wins 3 years in a row. This is history repeating itself because while Dak will get his money and probably be a Cowboy and CeeDee will get his money and definitely be a Cowboy, they just let Jason Garrett's contract expire.
Right.
To me, this is setting up for Mike McCarthy will either be gone at the end of the year if they don't make the Super Bowl, or he'll be fired like Wade Phillips in season. And look at how it starts. The schedule is really brutal for Dallas off the jump. They obviously could lose in Cleveland, Baltimore, Detroit, then they have the bye. All it would take, short week against the Giants on national TV, week 5 in Pittsburgh, national TV, you start 2-4 with the toughest stretch of your schedule coming out. I mean,
And 2-4 heading in the bye, you think you'd be fired?
Oh, we've seen Jerry Jones do it before.
Early
with
bye
Wade
might
Phillips.
save him. It's weird.
I don't see him getting fired. He's definitely a lame duck coach. And heck, Mike Zimmer's a lame duck defensive coordinator for that matter. And I agree with Nick. Like, if I'm CeeDee Lamb, I'm not really upset because I'm just seeing my thing go up and up and up. And I think he may want to wait for Justin Jefferson to get his deal. And even if he doesn't get as much as Jefferson, it's just going to keep raising what he gets. So CeeDee is fine. But the Cowboys are doing so poorly this offseason. Nick, it makes me wonder, because I'm not so sure Dak's going to be back. I think he should be. I think they should have signed him now.
To bring him back.
But I don't know why they're doing what they're doing unless they are examining him or evaluating him on this season. And it makes me wonder, are they actually doing the same thing with, like, all of these guys? Like, it sounds crazy that they could let CeeDee go. But if you don't have a quarterback, unless, Trey Lance or Cooper Rush really impresses them in practice, like, if they let Dak go, why aren't you signing CeeDee at this point? Because they can't be that simple-minded to not know it's just going to cost us more and more. So I don't know what the heck is going on with the Cowboys, but it's ridiculous.
Curious video coming out of Jets camp. Aaron Rodgers looking, let's say, uncomfortable. Worth noting, this is his right ankle that is being checked out, attended to. His Achilles was his left, so no official reports from the Jets.
This is what looks weird to me.
He did continue to practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so something or nothing.
That's something. I don't care so much about the beginning of that video, but the video of him running around, which is so odd because what is it? It's May 30th, so it's almost June. And he was going to play a football game in December. So that was, I don't know, this is 6 months ago that he was, you know what I mean? He was going to be able to play a pro football game if the Jets were still in it. And so I don't know if it's like there was a setback or something's lingering, but if 6 months ago you were about ready to play a game, and now you're, to me, ambling about gingerly on the practice field, that is concerning in a similar way that I talked about last year with Joe Burrow. That when everyone was talking about him coming back from the calf, I was not saying I'm worried he's going to tear the calf or tear the Achilles. I was worried that because he wasn't fully mobile, he was going to suffer a different injury, not going to be able to protect himself. So, Wilds, that's how I feel about it.
I agree.
I don't know how you feel about it as our resident Jets skeptic.
Well, I'm a resident Jets skeptic. I'm also, Danny, the most empathetic of everyone here.
Everyone says that about you.
Except for Rodgers, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers.
No, that's not true. Because I am on Hobble Watch vigilantly.
Hobble Watch.
When Giannis was wincing in pain,
that's true.
I said, you know what? This is worrisome. And then Brew yelled at me, it's football, toughen up. Brew wants everyone to play through everything. Nick is like, it's not a big deal. Injuries happen. You get a treatment. I'm on Hobble Watch. Jamal Murray, Hobble Watch. I'm concerned and worried. And Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure if he saw this video down some Reddit rabbit hole, he would be like, you know what? They're making something out of nothing. Maybe. I hope so. But if we saw Joe Burrow on Hobble Watch, or Josh Allen on Hobble Watch, or Lamar on Hobble Watch, we would all be very nervous. Now, this is not the Achilles ankle, but the fact that the oldest quarterback in the league is the only one, and I've scoured for Weird and Wonderful, all the OTAs, Caleb's moving, everybody's moving fine.
And Caleb's
this is
not
the only, Aaron Rodgers is the only quarterback I've seen his foot. That's it.
Is it, and this isn't my revelation, but this has all been all on social media, it does look to me like it's probably a blister.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. And a blister, Nick, could, I mean, they put something over it and taped it and all that. But that could lead to your gait being, a little
You think
off.
he was rolling out that way because of a blister?
It's possible. I think it's possible. A blister, maybe the bottom of the shoe, the heel of the shoe is bothering you, rubbing up against the blister. He's 40, so I get, is everything something at 40? But I think I would bet it's just a blister and it's rubbing up against the shoe and it's probably bothering him a little.
But I think that last point is certainly how I felt about it. It doesn't matter if we never saw this video. It would be the most watched, gait and hobble. We'd be studying every step this guy takes. We've never seen a 41-year-old quarterback try to come back from a torn Achilles in the NFL for a team with Super Bowl expectations. So we're going to be watching every step he takes in August at training camp, in September, in November, if he makes it that far. Like, there's a ton of skepticism about the Jets being able to protect Aaron Rodgers with that offensive line and all the injury-prone veterans that they brought in, and then the rookie that they're going to be relying on. So maybe this video is something, maybe it's nothing, but it's not unfair to speculate given his age and the injury.
It's definitive. Hold on. I don't mean to be rude. It can't be nothing.
If it's a blister, it's not nothing.
Here is Wilds' point is, in my opinion, the correct one, which is of all the quarterbacks that we know are starting, if we were to, let's say we were to just see the shadow of them rolling out and ranked it and said, hey, who's the one that looks like he is having the most trouble moving? And then it turns out, big reveal, it's also the oldest guy, and it's also one of two guys coming off an Achilles. That is definitively something. You can't tell me that's nothing.
But it's not the same foot he had. So you're saying the Achilles is still bothering him a little bit, and it's forced
May
him to
rolling out like that,
compensate?
I would think it was something.
Correct.
Okay, if it comes out and it's true, that's a blister, and the shoe is right where the shoe is rubbing up against it. You gonna tell me that's a huge deal?
Yes. Here's why I'm gonna tell you that.
Huge
because
deal? No,
yes,
it's not a huge deal.
Hold on. No. Wait a moment. Because I think you'll agree with me. If you are in a place where a blister makes you visually somewhat debilitated on a rollout, I don't think you're going to make it through a 20-game NFL season. Call me crazy, but I think over the course of a year, you're going to suffer more than a blister.
But he could just be not padded up for the blister develops.
Not padded up for the blister.
Yeah, you put a
Blisters can be big and painful.
Guys.
It may not have burst yet.
Bro.
It could burst.
Hold on. All right. So you guys think that rollout,
show the rollout again there, Dusty.
That the rollout is not something to be highly concerned about?
Not highly concerned. I will give you that at 40, we look at everything, right? You're 40 years old. But I think that's just a blister. It's rubbing against the shoe, so you're kind of running a little gingerly. That's, I think, all it is.
All we've done is we've shown
they wouldn't have him out there. You think they would have him out there in May if there really was something wrong with his foot?
You know how I determine whether or not Aaron Rodgers is going to practice? I think the way they determine who their offensive coordinator and head coach is going to be. Aaron, what do you think?
Well, like Aaron's out there working through it.
There's no way if he is injured beyond a blister that they're out letting him run through OTAs.
We have shown OTA video of every quarterback.
That's the correct
on the show. That's the only one besides Joe Burrow getting his hat knocked off by one of those weird.
I was going to say, Burrow didn't look all that great getting his hat knocked
new
off.
haircut. Oh, that's it. And I talked about that. Court awareness.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.